assignment in Kherson today is to link up with a mobile drone hunting crew that is in a populated area of Kherson, but one that is being hit frequently by drone attacks from the left bank of the Dnipro, the Russian-occupied side of Kherson, and they launch drones across the river to terrorize the civilians there. This team is out on foot, on patrol, looking for those drones in the sky and doing their best to shoot them down before they get hit. So what we're looking at is a drone netting that covers the last 20 kilometers, more than that, of the Mykolaiv to Kherson highway, because the drone attacks have become so frequent, so deadly. That the only way to safely get into Kherson, which itself is very unsafe, is to drive under these nets that are designed, and they're on all sides, not just the top, but the sides as well, to catch the Russian suicide attack drones before they hit the cars.
Even with the protective netting, there's danger. Russian drone pilots have developed new tactics where they'll either burn holes in the netting or slip under gaps and lie in wait for unsuspecting targets. We're in a wooded area in a neighborhood inside Kherson, going on patrol, foot patrol, with an anti-drone crew. It's going to be essentially bait for drones coming in to attack civilian targets, and they're here to stop that, shoot them down before they kill people. One of the things you notice here is that there are people still in this part of Kherson, and they stroll undercover, but when they hit the open street, they run. I'm sure you heard the outgoing artillery in the background. We're that close to the front. There's rubble everywhere, but people are still surviving. We're in a neighborhood of Kherson that has been devastated by these first-person view drone attacks. I mean, look at this apartment building. And our drone hunting team, you can hear the outgoing artillery there. They're leading the way, and when they see a drone to engage it, we're supposed to run for cover. One of the things you notice here is the number of dogs, because when people fled, many of them could not bring their animals. The other thing you notice,
the road of death.
The road of death.
Yep.
I'm not sure you can see it, but a vehicle crashed into a pole there, and one burned out down the road. And up ahead, we see, I think, what might be fiber optic cables from the fiber optic drones.
Його просто ламаєш. Раз, і зламали.
What we're looking at here is a map of fiber optic cable, very thin, I mean, almost hair thin. This trails the fiber optic FPV drones from the other side of the river. We're about 5 blocks away, but there can be kilometers of this trailing one of these drones. In some areas close to the front, there are so many attacks that the cables they trail behind them lay like a web over entire neighborhoods. There's no radio signal from the operator to the drone. It all goes through this wire, which makes it virtually impossible to jam, and the only way to detect it is essentially to see it. And to get good at that, you've got to practice. And they do that in the simulator because in the real world, one mistake gets you killed. I'm going through the simulator, trying to shoot down these drones with an assault rifle, and it's astonishing. I'm getting killed most of the time. All right. Down that street is the Dnipro River, and occupied left bank is on the other side. From here, the Russians launch the drones.
Drone.
So the guys just saw a drone approaching our position, almost certainly saw us. I think they got it. The contest between who gets who first. Do they get the drone, or does the drone get them? There's a major rail line into Kherson where they picked up the grain. This is one of the bread baskets of Ukraine. Grain comes out of Kherson, heads back to Odessa, where it ships out and feeds the world. The drones will attack the rail as well. They actually hit the main rail hub in Kherson. But that train is one of Ukraine's lifelines. That's why the Russians are determined to destroy it, and why the artillery unit we're embedding with today is equally determined to protect it. So we're headed to the hidden position right now. Parked the vehicle under cover and making the short walk to what's very likely to be a hole. Looking for mines on the ground, because they'll drop them, butterfly mines, out of from the air, and they're pretty indiscriminate. They also have disguised mines that look like dirt. Has a very World War I feel to it. That's the amazing thing about this war. It's a blend of trench warfare and Terminator.
Фонарики проходим.
Go. All right. Thanks, Eddie. And we're on our way to the gun position now. And here's the gun. This is a 155 millimeter Soviet era artillery piece. The Russians are 2.5 kilometers downrange. Any type of Russian drone that's being used at the front right now can reach our position. The FPVs, the fiber optics, obviously the bomber drones can hit us as well, which is why camouflage matters so much. One of these, if they can't see you, they have a much harder time killing you.
Ні, просто щоб він натягнув. Бо він зараз дьорне. Фаєр! Фаєр! Маскуємо? Да.
Artillery like this is critical for keeping the Russians from pushing forward and threatening the grain train. We can't show the target, but we just got word over the radio that it was a good hit, a cluster of fortified Russian positions, including a heavy artillery piece. It's tough to take out something like that with a drone, but a 90-pound shell does the trick. So we are in Odessa, headed to a gun emplacement to visit a gun crew that is downing the drones, mostly Shaheds, that launch from Crimea into the city to terrorize the civilian population. We're expecting a busy night because it is actually Vladimir Putin's birthday. And on past birthdays, this was his present to himself to terrorize Ukrainian civilians. We just got an alert that there is a wave of 12 Shaheds flying in over the Black Sea and about to hit Odessa in literally minutes, which is why we're driving so fast. But we should be there in the next minute or two. We're on the shore of the Black Sea here in Odessa, Ukraine. The Shahed drones leave Crimea. They fly over the Black Sea. The first line of defense is rockets that are downrange. Our mobile air defense crew is on the hill overlooking the beach here, waiting for any Shaheds that make it past the rocket fire. At that point, they'll engage, guide their tracer rounds into the sheds, and fingers crossed, down them before they hit apartment buildings, hospitals, playgrounds across the city. All right, what we're seeing now is an air defense rocket heading downrange towards a target. God willing, it's going to strike it in the clouds. If it does, you'll see a large flare. There it is. So we just saw another rocket head downrange and take out a Shahed. That's 3 for the night. I don't think any have gotten through yet, but the ones that get past the rockets are going to be engaged by this team right here. The team uses these infrared binoculars to scan over the Black Sea to find the targets, and then they have a laser illuminator, and you can see the beam through the rain. That illuminates the target, and then it is just up to the skill of the gunner guiding tracer fire from the Browning 50 cal onto that green dot. The speed of the Shaheds is changing all the time. They'll change their altitude as well. So it takes a lot of practice and a lot of skill to track them and destroy it before it hits the city. We've been hearing booms farther down the coast as other teams engage. One of the hardest things to describe about the atmosphere here is the tension of waiting. And they just have to keep their cool until these last few minutes when they jump into action. Another long night defending the city of Odessa from Shahed and missile attacks. There are no more incoming drones, but we know that while the unit we're with and others shot down multiple Shaheds tonight, some did get through and struck Odessa.
Tonight, Odessa was part of a large-scale Russian aerial attack on Ukraine that targeted critical energy infrastructure. Across the nation, 3 people were killed and 31 injured.
We're leaving Kherson and we're still under the anti-drone netting, but there is a signal on the way out of the city, green light or red light, that indicates if drones are active in the area. We have the green light, so we're good to go. Ukraine is doing everything in its power to defend itself against these waves of drones, foot patrols, nets over highways. This section hasn't been covered yet because crews keep getting hit. I feel like I have seen the future of warfare. The fact that the weapon of choice for the last 100+ years for inflicting mass casualties, cheap artillery, has been replaced by something high-tech and even cheaper, drones. I don't think we fully appreciate the implications. For all the questions I still have, I am dead certain about one thing. If America doesn't learn from what is happening right here, we're going to lose our next war.